Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And today, we're one day away from the 2024 Royal Rumble, one of, I think, everybody's favorite pay-per-views of the year. I'm really excited for it. As always, you never know what's going to happen, who's going to show up. And don't worry, guys, if you're trying to avoid spoilers, sure, today we are spoiler-free. These are just our own predictions. We're not one of those dirtiest dirt sheets and dirt sheet entertainment. We're a clean sheet, and we certainly won't be spoiling anything, but instead predicting everything, probably extremely wrong. But without further ado, let me introduce to you guys the head of opinions here at Wrestling Republic. So there's a lot of pressure on you today, Anthony, to get the opinion correct. Anthony Ricciardi, how are you, Anthony?
Doing all right. I mean, I have a pretty decent track record. I predicted Dominic becoming Eddie Guerrero too, and I predicted Punk's return at Survivor Series.
True.
So you know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to throw out a wild prediction like Jimmy King is going to debut for Ready to Rumble or anything crazy like that. So I think I have a pretty good handle on this. And really, the Rumble is one of my favorite shows of the year because it's the one show that is, as long as you've watched it, it's still unpredictable. You don't know who's coming out. You don't know when. Obviously, there's spoilers, things that are coming out. Anything can change until that moment happens. Anything is subject to change with the Rumble.
Absolutely. No, that is the best part about it. It is so unpredictable. And yeah, we're going to be trying to avoid spoilers here. I remember a couple of years ago, I'm fine to say this on there as long as I don't say the name, one of the owners of one of the dirtiest dirt sheets and dirt sheet entertainment, they just messaged me on Twitter, privately DM'd me the winners to the men and women's Royal Rumble on the night before. I was like, why? Like, I've never had a conversation with this guy before. I didn't know him or something. I think I sent him a DM one time, and I don't even think he replied to that. And that was years back, and he just spoiled the Royal Rumbles for me. It was the weirdest thing ever, and I will never forgive him. But moving on, let me introduce to you guys the head of reviews, the man who will be rating tomorrow's show match by match, Coby Galenzoski. How are you?
So clearly we just heard Ben Allison's villain origin story of and Mr. Anti-Dirt Sheet over there. But anyway, I'm here. It's the Royal Rumble. We're on the road to WrestleMania. Hopefully it's an entertaining start to it. I'm excited. We have 2 stacked Rumbles where they haven't announced a lot of it, and that's what I want to see. The rest of it, of course, we'll get into talk about everything else, but I'm here to enjoy talking about predictions. I'm here to enjoy reviewing the show on the weekend as well. I'm ready to talk wrestling, as always.
You had a golden opportunity then to say, I'm ready to rumble, but no, you said ready to... But we got a couple of comments here. We got Numero 1 Superfly. Hello, Numero 1. I hope you're having a great day. And we got Chris Leclerc, who's rooting for Bayley. And Chris, bit of a spoiler for later, but I'm rooting for Bayley too. But last but certainly not least, we have Soul. Soul, how are you? Oh, he's got his tea.
You know, lads, WrestleMania Universe, I was very annoyed today. Very annoyed with people in our Wrestle Public group chat saying horrible things about who might appear at the Rumble, some opinions of their own. But I'm feeling better now because I had a shipment today. My babies have came home. I'm sure Anthony and Coby and Allison all know this. When we were at WrestleMania 39, as soon as I got into that humble abode and sat down to watch Dynamite, I bought a few AEW trading cards, and well, my babies, my free Luther autographs have finally came into my possession. So I'm a very, very happy man now. So yes, as I fan myself with this $1 million purchase, which will happily put me in the 401k for the far future. Let's get into the Royal Rumble now, shall we?
That was one of the best intros ever. We have a few more comments. We've got Bobby Petito saying he hopes we're having a great Friday. We are. I hope you are too, Bobby. And Chad saying Soli Khan has arrived on the scene. Chris Leclerc is saying happy birthday, Mercedes Monet. Of course, it is her birthday tomorrow. But will she be getting a belated birthday present as getting a place in the Royal Rumble? We'll have to wait and see. But firstly, let's discuss the head of the table, the tribal chief, the undisputed universal champion, Roman Reigns, who will have one of the biggest tests of his championship reign thus far tomorrow night as he defends in a fatal four-way against LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton. And I mean, obviously they've done this match, right, to just throw us off slightly, to just say, hey, we know the rumblings about a match between Reigns and The Rock. Well, what if Roman Reigns loses the belt at the Royal Rumble, but doesn't get pinned, so he doesn't look weaker? That's blatantly why they've done this match, but do I believe he's dropping the title? No, I don't. Anthony, what about you?
Okay, my first thought is this, and this is not directly related to the match. So you're going to want to keep those Luther cards because they're the rookie ones before he became the butler. But for this match, you're looking at it. These are four guys that have all had world championships. Granted, LA Knights wasn't in WWE, but technically he's an Impact World Champion. So this is a really good matchup for four of them. I think it's designed to protect Reigns and protect Orton because I think Reigns is going to retain, and I don't think Orton's going to be the one that takes the pinfall. I think that's what it's designed for. I think Reigns is retaining. I think WrestleMania, he is going to be defending that title. I'm not going to get into who because that falls into the Rumble stuff. But, I've said before, I think it's probably going towards Reigns, Cody 2, or possibly Reigns, Cody, and possibly The Rock if they throw in make it a three-way. Because weird tradition is 20 was a triple threat, 30 was a triple threat, 40 could be a triple threat if they follow that pattern. If they follow that pattern. But I think this is going to be a really good match, but I think overall Reigns is going to retain. I don't know whether or not he's going to get the pin on Knight or Styles. Probably Styles because Styles could take the loss and Knight has momentum, so they might give it to Styles. Styles may do the job is where I'm getting at. That's what I'm thinking. But I think it'll be a really good match, though.
Absolutely. And yeah, I do agree. AJ Styles is at a point in his career where pins, he doesn't matter if he takes a loss. It really, really doesn't. Also, with his new gimmick, it would kind of play into that slightly. So I do agree with you. I think he is taking the pin as well. But what about you, Coby? How are you feeling heading into this one? I mean, do you reckon that perhaps it will be AJ Styles taking the pin and Reigns retaining?
So I want you to do one more thing, is say that it's a stacked four-way once more for me.
Like you did
earlier.
A stacked four-way.
It should certainly feel that way. This is the thing, is this fatal four-way, other than the fact that it is the four top stars on SmackDown right now, this feels like such a Roman Reigns versus not the Authority, but Roman Reigns versus the general manager. It does not feel like these are four guys on a collision course for the championship. This feels like Nick Aldis has stacked the deck against Roman Reigns. And for simply what? Because Roman is trying to walk over him. That's the thing. I have an issue with the way they've built it, but I have no issue with what this match how this match should play out. It should be entertaining. It should get time. It should be there should be some car crash elements. I'm expecting at least one spear through a barricade. It's a Roman staple. I can see a lot of it. I'm going to be entertained by it, but I know for a fact that you are not going to end Roman Reigns' historical reign with a match of this magnitude. Yes, it's stacked because it's 4 top stars, 3 plus Roman, if you want to view it that way. But it's also Roman Reigns has to lose the title, and it has to make the person who dethrones him. And this is where it makes things tricky, because it makes it hard. It makes it difficult to actually play off with that way. So I do believe Roman Reigns is retaining. I do believe he's going to face The Rock at WrestleMania. I don't know where. I do think LA Knight and AJ Styles is a chamber singles match if you want to do it as a single, if you want them to do something, because they're more than likely continuing in that direction. But I agree. This is protecting Roman Reigns. This is protecting Randy Orton, because Randy Orton's a future singles match for Roman if the time comes, which if he retains the title, if he holds the title past and he is facing Roman, he is going to need another contender, and a singles match with Randy is going to be a move that they can make. But I could see Reigns pinning Styles over LA Knight instead, because LA Knight needs to be protected, because we know he's not winning, but you can't just give him another pay-per-view or another loss in that sense.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said there. Only part I disagree with, I hear your, concerns about it, but I actually like how they built this match, because they built it where there's feuds within the match itself, but also, like you said, Aldis and Reigns. And I know it feels like they're almost building a match, but again, with them facing each other, but I think we will get that. But I think that's just going to be down the line. Now, this entire title reign, Roman Reigns has had the authority, in Adam Pearce on his side. But now, yeah, literally. Now, Nick Aldis, well, he's not like that. So it's another obstacle in Roman Reigns' reign, which just makes it a little bit more interesting. It's adding a little bit of spice to the storyline, and I don't dislike that at all. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't mind either.
It. I just feel like it's not built as 4 top stars in a collision. It's built more as Reigns has another obstacle in Nick Aldis. It feels like Nick Aldis is as important as LA Knight, Styles and Randy Orton in the build of this match. I'm not saying it shouldn't be like that, but I kind of have an issue with that, because Nick Aldis shouldn't be an integral part of this type of feud or this type of build, and he is.
I think we're going to have to wait and see where that one goes. We've got Coach23 on Instagram saying with his age, he doesn't think The Rock will be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Well, we'll have to wait and see that. But Philip55115 is saying, just imagine if Orton wins tomorrow night. And Bobby Petito can imagine it, because Bobby Petito is picking it. He thinks Randy Orton will be winning and will be ending this historic championship reign tomorrow. I mean, who knows? Coach23 is also saying that LA Knight can take the loss, and it could jumpstart a feud with Logan Paul for the US title. That would certainly be interesting. And Philip is also asking, do we think we'll see The Undertaker in the Royal Rumble? He's retired. He's not coming back.
No,
he is done. Is done.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you want to give LA Knight a big win, give him a win over Styles at the Chamber. Then he has momentum to ride to Logan Paul. That's why I would do it. You can't just give him a Logan Paul feud after 2 big losses to Roman Reigns.
That's true. That's true. I mean, they have. Yeah, you shouldn't do it. That's true. What about you, Soul? How are you feeling about this one? Do you reckon we could see a shock championship change?
Actually, I don't know. I mean, the reason why that is because I'll be watching AEW Collision because I'm Sully Can, baby. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. No, what actually I think will be happening is this. I think going into this, LA Knight's not going to take the pin. I think if this match main events, have Logan Paul and Kevin Owens go on first, then have a backstage segment where LA Knight rubs Logan Paul the wrong way, similar to what happened at the Chamber last year. He comes out and causes LA Knight to be just like not knocked out at the ring or something like that. Helps build towards that for Mania, and I think Reigns should take the pin. No, not take the pin. Get the pin on Orton. Why Orton? he's not someone who's, he's been like the mysterious one, not been there for the whole title reign with, injuries and all that. And he's never really faced Reigns in this capacity as the tribal chief. So really to cement, I'm going to say this, make Roman look strong, Pin Orton. And that's
He needs that.
No, I'm sure he does. But I feel like this one, it's a big stellar match, but I feel like the outcome of it, predictable. So not really too fussed about it. But hey, might be fun. And I'll need to those glasses. I chucked them away too far. Damn it.
I think they're probably smashed, just like the spoon you were using for your teacup at the start of the show.
That's actually went through the cabinet right now, so there's nothing important enough to ply up. God damn
it. Anyway, let's now move on, and let's move on to talk about the United States Championship picture. We just mentioned it. Logan Paul will be defending that United States Championship against Kevin Owens. And this feud has been built around the wrist of KO. It's been injured. Logan Paul just re-injured it as well. But he cannot wear that cast, even though it is injured. So that is going to be the weakness. And in my opinion, that's going to be the downfall. My prediction is Logan Paul retains. But what about you, Anthony?
I absolutely do think Logan retains, especially considering that Logan really seems committed to doing this. Unlike other celebrities that have come in, like for the quick payday, like he's actually training at the PC. I know he recently said that he re-signed with the company longer term, I believe, correct, if I'm not mistaken. And then
that's true. Yeah.
They did the whole. I saw the video of them fighting at the PC, Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. They've built it up well. Kevin Owens knows how to get people over, even if he's not the one winning. He could get Logan over, and I think the intention is to make Logan look like a legitimate U.S. champion, so that he can lose it too. And I do think LA Knight's probably the one that's ultimately going to take it off of him. I've been saying that for a while, and it probably at Mania. But I think that's Kevin Owens and Logan Paul is a fun feud because Kevin Owens can go at him verbally, and he can make it look believable in the ring. He can make Logan look even better than what he is, even though Logan hasn't been wrestling anywhere near the length of time that Kevin Owens has. So I think it's going to be a fun, entertaining match. But again, like you said, the wrist is going to be what's targeted. That's the smart play there. That's what's going to be the target. That will be the excuse of how Kevin Owens lost, whether it's a submission, something to that effect. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, no, I do think that you are bang on the money there. I will say one thing about the build to this match, because it has been exceptional, right? And I'm not somebody who always goes, around saying, oh, you need to protect kayfabe and all of this. But on Impulsive yesterday, Logan Paul was talking to John Cena about how him and Kevin Owens were hanging out backstage for hours. And I'm like, come on, Logan, come on. Don't say this when you're in the middle of feuding with him.
Yeah, I mean, there's things like that happen. It's just like it's funny. One of the videos, and this is not directly related to this, but I thought it was kind of funny. They recently released a video of CM Punk backstage, some build up for the Rumble or whatever, and he's backstage. He's asking if his hair was in place. He asked the Miz, which I thought was kind of funny considering there was the story that came out before he went back to the company that him and Miz squashed whatever beef they had. I thought that was kind of funny, just saying that. It reminded me when you said about backstage stuff that you're not supposed to realize.
Yeah. That type of stuff I find funny, though, like Punk and the Miz. That's brilliant. But this, I was like, come on, Logan. Don't mention that. But I know Impulsive, it's I don't think many WWE fans are watching that and vice versa. But, I mean, we should aim, I guess, for that to be the case. But anyway, let's now move on, and let's move on to talk about something that I am very, very, very excited for, and that is the Women's Royal Rumble match, because I love me a Royal Rumble. I truly, truly do. And today on the website, Bailey Jackson wrote a brilliant piece about why the Women's Royal Rumble is so great and underappreciated. It doesn't get the praise in which it deserves, and he's bang on right. I mean, nearly all these Women's Rumbles so far have just knocked it out of the park. Surprises, fun action, and most of the time a really, really decent winner too. And tomorrow, I'm so excited. But I really, really truly believe there can only be one winner in the Women's Royal Rumble, and that winner has to be Bayley. I've said it over and over and over again now. Bayley, for the last year and a half, has done next to nothing other than elevating Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and it's worked. Io Sky is now a champion. She's a top player in that women's division in WWE. But now it's time for Bayley to get back into that main event scene herself, and she really deserves this Royal Rumble win. And her versus Io Sky at WrestleMania, that is a money match. It's a match with a lot of story that's been developed over the last couple of years. It just screams WrestleMania. It really does. And honestly, for the career of Bayley, she needs this. And I can't believe I'm saying Bayley needs something, but she really does. Because her momentum right now is almost on the floor. She needs this win. But Coby, what's your thoughts? Do you reckon we could potentially see Bayley win?
If I look at things the way they've set this up, they've kind of set this up as there's three main contenders. They've been building Becky Lynch and Nia Jax, and then the only other threat on SmackDown is Bayley. Yeah. If I'm looking at it from a standpoint of what pathways can I take with this Rumble victory, it makes no sense for Nia Jax to win the Rumble and then go on to lose to Becky Lynch, because the end goal is Becky versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. The other goal is, does Becky win it? Then her thing is, maybe she puts her Rumble spot on the line because she wants to overcome Nia Jax, because she lost to Nia Jax earlier this year, and now she wants to overcome it because this entire story that has recently started is Becky wants to prove that she is better. She believes Rhea Ripley is better than her, but she wants to prove that Rhea is not. I'm excited for that match when it happens at WrestleMania, because unless an injury happens, that is the match we're getting. But that's the thing. I almost think that's more likely. Because if I address Bayley, we don't need Bayley to win the Royal Rumble unless she's going to go, oh, I'm picking Rhea Ripley. Maybe they build it up as at Elimination Chamber, I'm going to announce that I am facing Rhea Ripley in her home country of Australia. And then you have those teases of Damage Control, like, oh, she has no chance, blah, blah, blah. And then Bayley switches it. That's the other direction I could kind of see it. But Bayley doesn't need to win the Rumble to get to Io Sky. Becky Lynch also doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to get to Rhea Ripley. So I don't know. That's where I like this, because there's unpredictability and we can go either way. Those are my front runners. But if I'm picking who makes sense, I guess it is Bayley, because I want to see her. I want to see her go down to the pathway of, I am going to be the mommy slayer, like she's said a couple times. I'm going that way, and then stuff happens to make her go to Io Sky. That's the direction that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the reason why I think it should be Bayley over Becky or Nia is because I think Becky versus Nia in the number one contenders match, have the, winner of that go on to face Rhea Ripley. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Whereas Bayley, yes, if Damage Control turn on her, they could still, get there or whatever. But she's lost so many matches the last, year or so that, she just doesn't have the momentum. Whereas if she wins the Rumble, that's instant momentum. And that's what I think Bayley needs a lot more than Becky Lynch or Nia Jax. But I mean, what about you, Soul?
I think they're going to, just quickly, I think they're going to continue what they've done the last few years as they do a chamber match. So I believe that the final two of the chamber should be Becky Lynch and Nia Jax, and Becky gets the win finally. And that's what makes the most sense, because they've been doing that for the last 2 years.
The reason I don't think they're going to do that is because, of course, that champion is Rhea Ripley, and I think she's definitely wrestling at Elimination Chamber. And in fact, I think she's defending in the Chamber.
Could be.
But maybe that's how the Becky and Nia Jax feud keeps them out of the Chamber, because they're so distracted with each other and then maybe you have the winner of that versus the winner of the Chamber or something like that. But Shard agrees. Shard says Bayley deserves this momentum, whereas numero 1 Superfly's got Bayley winning, and AJ Lee, Naomi, Jade Cargill, Michelle McCool, and maybe Dakota Kai as surprises for the Royal Rumble. Wow, those would certainly be some prizes.
Dakota's
Bobby
kind of
Petite
debunked it and said that she's not. She has said that she doesn't know when she's getting cleared. It's soon, but she doesn't know. She has said that out of her way. But I mean, I 100% agree. AJ Lee's a stretch. I think Michelle McCool's. I mean, I think she's almost been in every single one, so I'd be shocked if she's not. Especially when they did the whole like, oh, she wasn't being picked and she was in the crowd and she did it in her gear. I think was that last year or was that 2 years ago? It was one of the two. It was one of the two.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was cool.
But
that was
I think
funny.
she's a staple. I think Trinity now probably is going to return as Naomi. I think that's a given as well.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're waiting for Cargill for the
shocked.
Rumble or waiting for post-Mania for Jade Cargill. Because they do want to make sure she's ready, like Triple H has said.
If Naomi shows up, that means Impact and Royal Rumble within 48 hours. That would certainly be quite interesting indeed. But I mean, Soul, before I get to you, Soul, Bobby Petito saying Dakota Kai is his spec to win the Women's Royal Rumble and then go for the NXT Women's Championship. I mean, that would certainly be an absolute just shock.
That's a tight one. That's a tight one because if you're going to do it at WrestleMania, Lyra versus Dakota Kai is a tough match to sell a 70,000
That's
crowd.
True.
I 100% believe that is a tough position to put them in because they're not big enough stars. Charlotte did it for the NXT title because it's Charlotte Flair.
Yeah,
Dakota
that's
Kai
a good point.
Doesn't have that pull to go. We can build a WrestleMania match for the NXT title with Dakota Kai.
Unrealized thoughts on
don't want to burst your
Instagram.
bubble, body. Don't want to burst your bubble though, body. Bobby. God, I can't talk.
Oh.
But yeah.
Oh, Unrealized thoughts on Instagram has realized his thoughts, and his thoughts are that Bayley is the only one who can benefit from it. Coach 23 agrees with that statement as well. I mean, it's certainly going to be a fun one. Come on, Bayley. You can do it. So can Bayley do it? Or are we all going to have our hearts broken?
No more interruptions, right? I'm good to go. You know, I'm not. There's no surprise comments.
There's another comment now.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hold on. Right. As you know, I'm a man who likes variety. You know, I've done many picks and all that. So I'm going to give 3 options who I would like to see win it, who I think's going to win it, and a shock win. So who I would like to see win it is indeed Bayley. I would like to see Bayley win it. You know, she has the storyline going with Damage Control, which I feel like could basically be the female equivalent of Evolution with Batista and Triple H. Maybe even recreate the whole thumbs down and all that thing and have that, because I feel like it does deserve it. I mean, Allison, you've always said story trumps everything, and this is something that has story to it. And I feel like it could easily be night 1 main event of a Mania. I honestly truly believe that. I think they've got something there, and have them go on. Like, if Bayley wins it off Io, that's like at least 5 months of storylines worth there with Damage Control and having a civil war between the two. So yeah, that's what I would like to see. Who I think's gonna win it, I honestly think it might be Becky Lynch that will win the Royal Rumble this year. Reason why is because of Rhea Ripley. She is honestly one of the hottest women right now in wrestling in general. Everything's about her. She gets the TV time. She gets everything, all the promos and all that. Even about on the Instagram as well. She's highlighted a lot on the company. So if you're going to put her into a Mania match, you want someone of that star caliber. Becky Lynch as well. She's got her own autobiography coming out soon as well. So there's a lot of hype around that. Those two could, again, easily main event a WrestleMania. And honestly, God, it would be exciting to see, as I think they're both amazing competitors. And surprise, shocking win, I'm going to say Naomi. Have her return, wins the Royal Rumble at Mania. She defeats Rhea Ripley for the championship. And this is going to get into insight later. Roman Reigns will lose his. And then we will have Naomi maybe be the new top dog, new head of the table, and have a female leader of the bloodline. I mean, hey, I think it would work.
That is certainly a wild take, but I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you said it's a wild shout, and it certainly is one. Indeed, one which I hadn't even thought about. And by the way, guys, if last night you haven't seen Jordan Grace versus Trinity Fatu, that match was fantastic. But like we said, Trinity lost, which means could she be showing up in this Royal Rumble? That pop would be electrifying. It certainly would be. But now let's move on to the big one, the men's Royal Rumble match. I'm really excited for this as well because, truthfully, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. Because if you asked me a week ago, I wouldn't have even considered Gunther. But now after that, that interaction between Gunther and Rollins, it's like, why did that happen if that's not what they're building to? So right now you have, Cody Rhodes as a possibility. You have Gunther as a possibility. You have, who else is there? CM Punk, of course, as a possibility. And then you have any surprise as well, including The Rock as a possibility. I mean, this Rumble is maybe the most unpredictable Rumble in years. And I mean, there certainly could be a few surprises in store as always. I'm so hyped for this. I've not been so hyped in so many years for this because of how unpredictable it is. Usually it's between one or two. This year, there's four possibilities, four very realistic possibilities of people who are, not even surprises. Then you add the surprises on top. Okay, well, you got The Rock, number 5. Maybe another person, number 6. Who knows? Like, it's really exciting. But if you guys are asking me who is going to win it, I predict Damian Priest is going to win it by getting eliminated and then cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm only joking. I had to.
Christ, man.
I had to throw in every prediction show.
Personally slap that mic out of your face. God, come on. I know the Money in the Bank was cashed in on the United States Championship, which is one of the worst things ever. But to win a Royal Rumble, come on, man.
Oh, I have to predict the cash in every show. I have to. But in all seriousness, my pick to win the men's 2024 Royal Rumble match is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I truly believe tomorrow night The Rock will come home and will win the Royal Rumble match to build up that WrestleMania huge match with Roman Reigns. And the big reason for this is I think you're an idiot if you win this Royal Rumble and you don't go for Roman Reigns unless you're a cowardly heel. And none of us are really predicting a cowardly heel to win this. So I definitely think The Rock is going to be cooking something up at the Rumble tomorrow. And I think that something will be winning it. But Soul, what about you?
So as I said before, I'm doing the 3 kind of selections. I love my pick and mix. Who I would like to see win it is Finn Balor. I like to see Finn Balor win this, then go into a storyline with the Judgment Day, like, oh, Priest has the Money in the Bank. He could cash in on, Seth or, Roman or something like that, maybe down the line. And then bring back both golds to the Judgment Day. Then, if Seth can't defend his championship anymore, have a vacant for the World Heavyweight Championship at Elimination Chamber, which Finn will win, but then get cashed in on by Priest. So basically, he loses that championship to Priest, leads into a Judgment Day Civil War. At Mania, have Priest versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor using his Royal Rumble pick Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like that makes a very sensible sense. I mean, Judgment Day are very hot. Finn is someone who has always been robbed of opportunities to basically be a top guy. Look at the Universal Championship inaugural match. Got injured from that. Always floundering. Intercontinental Championship, tag team, not really doing anything. Going back to NXT for like nearly a year and a bit, doing some successful things there. But he's never really been given that shot. And I honestly feel like Finn Balor is someone who's being very, very underutilized right now. I mean, this guy should easily be leading the charge. He really does deserve it. But who do I think's going to win it? It's CM Punk. He's so going to win this. Look, 10 years. 10 years ago, Punk walked out in the WWE after being pulled out by Kane and put through a table. There's a story there to have him come back 10 years later in the same match type that was his last within the WWE and win it. It writes itself, as I say. I mean, look, they brought back the old Punk shirt on the WWE shop. They're bringing everything out, all the whole guns and whistles. Yeah, it's going to be Punk, and I absolutely hate it. But hey, look, shocking pick. Shocking pick. Ryback. No, I'm kidding. It's The Rock. I think the shocking pick will be The Rock will enter at 30, eliminate Punk. Punk will then try and get into it. Cody will be the nobleman, like, no, you can't. It's sacred, man. You can't enter. And then Punk pulls him out, eliminates Cody. You get a match with Cody and Punk. Then Dwayne eliminates whoever's left. Let's just say Ivar. And then Rock goes for Roman because head of the table bloodline should have ended 20 odd years ago, and I'm so sick of it. But hey, yeah, I'm excited for FTR and Daniel Garcia versus House of Black.
I'll tell you what, Roman Reigns versus The Rock will get 10 times the viewership that anything AEW related has ever gotten, at least. But no, I mean, I do agree with a lot of what like a lot of your opinions there. I mean, for the longest time, I said I thought Finn Balor was going to win the Rumble. I've been saying it for months and months and months, but Seth Rollins is now injured, and he's saying he'll be back in a month, right? He'll be back just before Mania to have a match before Mania. And no way are they going to have him come back after this, this super fast recovery, have him come back just to be cashed in on and then to lose that spot at WrestleMania for the championship. I cannot see that happening. I really can't. So I actually think that maybe that was the original plan, perhaps. But unfortunately, I no longer see that being the case, which sucks. As Finn Balor versus Damian Priest both of them deserve to finish the Judgment Day story at WrestleMania in, big spotlight. But I mean, listen, Coby, what about you? How are you feeling heading into this one? What's your pick? Who is your pick to win the men's Royal Rumble match?
If I'm going back to the same idea that I used with the women's Rumble and which makes sense, which pathway makes more sense, which pathway doesn't need a Royal Rumble victory, if the Roman Reigns 4-way is main eventing the show, there's no way The Rock wins the match earlier. The Rock is just going to end the show by showing up.
Yeah.
And we're going to end the show with the Roman Reigns and Rock stare down. This is where it makes the most sense. He laid down the law. He laid down his goal. It's got to be Gunther, man. I do not want to see CM Punk and Seth Rollins when Seth is clearly injured and probably won't be 100% for WrestleMania. He's going to be working through an injury that may or may not be perfectly healed. I assume it won't be perfectly healed, but he'll be able to get cleared to compete. I don't want to see Punk versus Rollins if you know for a fact Rollins is just going to be able to do WrestleMania and either get cashed in on or just drop the title fairly. That's where Gunther comes into play. You have a historic match. It's WrestleMania 40, title for title. Not title for title. You could do title for title if you
Please don't.
Please don't. But, well, I mean, title for title, then what happens? Do we get a cash in and Damien gets...
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. Or does he have to leave? Does his contract make it, Damian Priest has to cash in on only one title?
Don't give them ideas.
I mean, that's the thing. If you're going to go either way, I think this is where it makes the most sense. Gunther versus Seth. It's not going to be title for title. If that is the direction, you're going to go IC champion versus world heavyweight champion. If Gunther wins clean, Gunther wins clean. If Gunther wins dirty because of Imperium, he does. If Damian Priest shows up, you can go either way. But I think the sole purpose right now is we know Seth is going to go into WrestleMania and probably has a 5% chance of winning and keeping that title. Because I think he's coming to do the match, to work through the injury, drop the title fairly instead of vacating it, and then take the time off necessary if it needs to be, if that is the move if it needs to be necessary in that way. I don't think The Rock needs the Rumble to get to Roman. I don't think Punk gets the victory because I think you have a lot more you can do, because you can do Punk and McIntyre, where Punk gets a win where Punk's not gonna, or Drew McIntyre's not gonna get hurt by losing to Punk. Same thing. Punk and Cody is more unpredictable because both deserve a victory at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes is trying to finish his story, and it's going to be a long haul. Punk is returning to WrestleMania. There's more unpredictability in that, but I don't know what the direction is. I mean, I can see The Rock winning, but I think The Rock doesn't need the Rumble to go to WrestleMania. I think Gunther winning it makes the most sense right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do worry that you've given them ideas with that take about Priest cashing in on Gunther and Rollins and then winning both the titles, and the next night on Raw they're like, actually Gunther's still Intercontinental Champion because you can only cash in on one. I think you might be very accurate on that one there.
Logically, they won't do that.
I really hope not. Infectious Group Music are saying they're going to the Rumble tomorrow. Can't wait. Enjoy it. It should be a great, great show indeed. I mean, Anthony, what about you? Who is your picks to win the men's Royal Rumble?
My pick has been consistent. I believe it's going to be the real world champion, CM Punk. I think Punk is going to be the one to win it. 10 years ago, almost to the day he walked out on the company, he has one goal in mind: to main event WrestleMania. And I believe that he is going to with Seth. I think Seth is going to do what Shawn Michaels did at WrestleMania 14. Shawn went in there with an injured back, took medication, got through the match. That's what Seth's going to do. Seth's going to do business. That's the money match for them. Gunther, realistically, even if Seth's injured, do you really want to look at Seth Gunther not at full health to do it? Because it'll look like a squash match at Mania. That's what it'll look like against Gunther. You're not going to do a cash-in, because if you did a cash-in and Damian beat him, doesn't that hurt the long Intercontinental title reign at that point?
Yeah, it does.
Because, okay, even if he walks out of there like Ultimate Warrior with 2 belts and then gets cashed in and loses the world title, that kind of hurts or diminishes what he did with the Intercontinental title. I mean, The Rock's always a possibility, like you said, but I really think it's going to be Punk, Rollins, and I do think it's Cody Reigns, either straight up or a triple threat with Rock. I really, truly believe that's the direction they're going to go with this. They've been using Cody nonstop with promotion towards WrestleMania 40. He was in Philly when the tickets went on sale. They've had him do promotion stuff in Philly. They're building the video game around him. He's the cover of they're doing a lot of these things. And you look at top merch sellers, it's Cody, it's Punk, and somewhere R-Truth now, but I don't think he's winning this thing. But I mean, he is a 50-time 24/7 champion or something like that.
That's
48 time, whatever it was. But I really think it's going to be Punk, Rollins. I do have one question that no one has an explanation for. Why wouldn't Damian Priest cash in this past Monday with Seth injured?
I said this in Allison analysis.
So to me, like, the smart play would have been Monday, and I know this is past, but this is what I would have done. I think Rollins should have been live via satellite to make this announcement, because then that explains, okay, he couldn't cash in because he's not in that location.
So there is an explanation, and the explanation is that McIntyre wouldn't let him cash in. But you have a faction. Why didn't Balor and JD just take out McIntyre and then you do that? So I agree with you there. That made zero sense. I want to quickly read some comments. Coach23 saying CM Punk wins Rumble and beats Rollins for the title, and then Priest cashes in at WrestleMania. I mean, main event Jey Uso should win is what Shard's going for. And Bobby Petito is saying Gunther is his pick, while Numero 1 Superfly says Cody Rhodes will be the guy to finish the story, and Chris Leclerc also goes Gunther. Well, we're going to have to wait until tomorrow, guys, but
that's
honestly,
about the Rumble. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Apart from those dirty cheats on Twitter who DM me
Until
this.
someone
Ah!
DMs Ben Allison and his villain horror story
Block your DMs,
origin story.
Blocking them
continues.
all. I'm blocking them all tomorrow. But in all seriousness, guys, it's going to be a super fun show tomorrow. I'm hyped. Thank you to Anthony. Thank you to Soul. And thank you to Coby for joining me here today. We'll be back tomorrow, right before the Rumble, to give our thoughts on tonight's edition of SmackDown. It should be a good one. We'll see you guys then. If you're on Spotify, please leave a cheeky 5 stars. If you're on any other platform, please support us. We're here every day. Thank you so much and enjoy your Friday.